example 2.10 goes into our last turnaround option here, 1625. And this is commonly known as ice cream changes, is that right? 1 to the 6 to the 2.
Yeah, the doo-wop ice cream changes. Actually, it goes way back, even older, called the Cantor changes. You know, Eddie Cantor was a vaudeville entertainer. You know, 20s, 30s. Did the blackface and that whole. You're probably familiar with him.
A little bit.
Yeah, but that's where those changes came from. When they used to do the encores. You know, we want Cantor, we want Cantor. You know, they do this encore to get him back on the stage, and that kind of was all dominant chords. You know, we want we want Cantor, we want Cantor. Yeah, I think something like that. But it's kind of almost dating back to more like ragtime, because it seemed like a lot of the ragtime tunes. A lot of the minor chords, like in a typical 1625, you know, the 1's major, the 6 is minor, the 2 is minor, and then the 5 is dominant. But in a lot of those earlier songs, the minor chords were again, those were dominant chords, secondary dominant. So the A minor became A7, the E minor became E7, and so, in a 1625, you do have some options too, because you can play it straight, like doo-wop changes, which would be, you know, the straight G major, E minor, A minor, say D7. That's not quite as bluesy, though. If we make them all sevenths, I'll do a prettier ballad. I'll make the G a major 7. And then the 6 a minor 7, the 2 a minor 7, and then our 5 a dominant. So now it's definitely like a ballad almost. And you'll hear some blues ballads that kind of use those type of chords. If we're getting a little darker sound, then we're probably going to do something like the 1 will be a 9th, you know, maybe like that. T-bone chord, or it'll be just a regular 7th, but the 6 will be like a raised 9, the dominant, but in the dominant family, and we'll keep the 2 a minor, and then maybe a 9th for the D, so you get something like, or that kind of coloring, which is different. Or maybe I'll do a 13th on the G. Sounds a little cooler. Or maybe a G6. See, already I'm talking lots of different.
A lot of coloration options.
You can take these chords and you can play them really stock, real straight, like what I first did. See, that's pretty straight. Those are all just straight dominants: root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. That's it. But then you start playing around with them, you know. You can alter notes. I mean, watch this. I'll do here's G13. Here's an E7 flat 9. I'll still do a 2 minor, which is A minor 7, and I'll play a D7 flat 9. Now we're kind of getting into the jazz thing, but it's still a 1625. Now here. That was even bluesier now, wasn't it? Jazzy blues. Now I did a G13, E7 raised 9, and this time on the 2 I made it a dominant, but I added the 13th too. And then to get even bluesier or jazzier, the D I made it a D7 raised 9. So as you can see, I mean, you really can take it a lot of different places.
Yeah, depending on the mood you want to present.
Depending on the song. If you're doing, you know, if it's more traditional, then you're probably going to stick with the, you know, with the more traditional, you know, the more traditional chord changes.
And again, the takeaway for the harmonica student is to spend time with your guitarist, keyboard player, whoever the dominant person is in the group, and work out exactly what John is stating, what the chord structure is, what the notes are relative to your C harmonica, so you can dial that in. And then work that structure, play all root notes one time, play all thirds next time, play all fifths or sixths or sevenths or ninths or 13ths, and actually play those chord qualities to get to know which ones are the sweet ones and which ones don't lay as well on the harmonica, and to find. And you might spend 2 hours on that little chord progression, but you're going to own it.
That's right. And once you have an arrangement, you're set.
Really does sound good.
Yeah.
So let's
You
go
wanna
ahead.
try?
Yeah, let's play. Let's do the dominant 7th version of
Just
it.
straight dominance?
Yeah,
Okay.
count me in and all.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, let's do root notes together with John. Because this is going by fast, I'm playing 2-draw root note to the 2-blow root note to the 3-draw whole step bend root note to the 1-draw root note. 1, 2.
We can do it slower if you want.
Yeah, let's go a little slower.
Okay, like if we were doing, like, say, Ain't Nobody's Business, or,
Okay.
okay,
Count me in.
2, 3, 4.
All right, count us in one more time.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah, and when I was taking my knowledge of the chord tones, mostly roots and fifths, and my motoring skills to move me across the range of the instrument.
And the only change I did that kind of colored it just a little bit more, not much. I started with the 7th, the dominant, but when I went to the E, I added the 9th in there, just to make it a little richer sounding. Not too much. Still playing dominant chords. The A7, I kept it as A7, but when I went to the D, I added the 9th again. Again, just coloring slightly. Not too. We're still playing very. It's still pretty straight.
Yeah, relatively speaking, yeah.
Yeah,
Good. Let's see, ready to move on to 8-bar blues?
sure.
All right.